In today's video, I've got for you a really simple 3-step process to build a better backswing. Make sure you check this video out. Welcome back to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at Branston Golf and Country Club. Today's video, as I said, is going to be a 3-part backswing exercise. So I'm going to help you build a better backswing by improving your takeaway movement. So the takeaway position for me is where the club gets to its first parallel position. We refer to this as P2, so P1 being the setup position, P2 being when the club is at first parallel to the ground. The end of the grip point's about my pocket height. So for me, that is this takeaway movement. And this is largely controlled by the correct wrist movements, okay? So we're going to be talking about wrist cock and wrist hinge, and hopefully making you understand what you're trying to do in that first movement, as that is a real key part. They're stage 1 and stage 2, the wrist cock and the wrist hinge. The other part of it is just the correct rotation that we're trying to make. Rotating on a tilted axis effectively. They're the 3 parts, and I'm going to go into them here. So the takeaway position, as I said, this first parallel position here, what we're looking for is a connection with the lead arm across the chest. We're looking to keep the width of the lead arm, so that is my arm closest to the target. We're looking for that trail arm to be slightly folded, and we want that leading edge of the golf club, in my opinion, to match our spine angle. There are some coaches and some players who'd perhaps prefer to see the toes straight up there, and for me that would be great in a more of a baseball movement, but because we're starting a tilted posture, I would like that club face to more match our spine angle in that first takeaway position. So I'll move a little bit more down line, and you will see that that club face more matches my spine that I'm talking about. Now, if we get to the stage where we're here and we're hitting good golf shots, fine. If we get in the club face doing this, we're obviously opening that club face more, making it very, very difficult. And if we're getting all the loft pointing down towards the ground, we got a more of a closed club face. Would generally, for a right-handed golfer, if we return that way, encourage that ball to obviously be starting left and moving left. So we've got to get our wrist to do 2 things in the backswing, as I said, part 1 and part 2. One is wrist cock. So that is the up and down movement. We have to have wrist cock in our backswing to try and create some sort of 90-degree. Different players will achieve it at different times. So some will achieve that wrist cock sooner in the backswing, some will achieve that later. But we want that angle present on the downswing to help us generate some speed and affect the quality of contact, encourage us to get the ball turf strike that we're looking here for a mid-iron. So wrist cock is cocking up, and of course we have to down cock our wrists. We're talking about that takeaway move. So we've got to be able to get our wrists to do this movement. The wrist hinge is obviously affecting the club moving back behind me, linked with my forearm rotation and the club face position. So what I'm going to get you to do is a real simple preset drill. We're going to cock our wrists up, so the club is now parallel to the ground from this level. We're going to hinge our wrists. Obviously there is some forearm rotation in there, you'll feel it happen naturally. So the club face more matches my spine angle, and the leading edge of the golf club, you can see there, as the leading edge of the golf club matches my spine angle, and the club is just a little bit outside my hands, okay? So this would be the club working inside my hands. So I've cocked my wrists up, I've hinged my wrists back. That's our first position. If we can feel at least what that takeaway position is like, we're going to then try and get into that position, obviously without doing these 2 preset moves. So let's try one. We can actually hit some shots from a preset move. I'm going to cock my wrists up. I'm going to hinge my wrists back. So I'm getting the desired takeaway position I want. And from there, I can just rotate. Now the rotation part was the 3rd part that we were looking for. So what we've got to make sure we're doing is turning our spine, or turning our back to the target, but maintaining our spine angle, I should say. So we're getting that feeling of turning around a tilted axis, so my lead shoulder moving more down. So once I get to this great takeaway position here, all I'd encourage you to do is get that feeling that your lead shoulder, your one closest to the target, just moves down underneath your chin, as your arms, of course, will start to move up your chest. And then we're in the correct takeaway, top of the backswing position. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and hit one doing that. I'm going to cock my wrists, hinge my wrists, look, check that club face position out. I'm going to then rotate around my spine. I'm just getting that sensation of what it's like to make that backswing from there. So I've achieved all my wrist movement very early in the backswing here in that first takeaway position, and then I'm just rotating around my spine to achieve the full, complete backswing that I'm looking for. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be actually on the course doing that movement, but once we've felt what it's like to be here, can we just go ahead and get the club into that same position as one move? And I'm not going to focus on, is it my lead arm pushing, is my right arm pulling, is it my body rotating away from the target? I've done some work on the takeaway before, of course, with some other videos, and I'll put some links just up here, well worth checking out, talking about this in a little bit more detail. All I'm going to ask you to do is, having done that preset exercise, can you get the club back into that same position? That same feeling that we're looking for. So I've achieved that. That's the position I want to try and get with the club. Can I get the club? Can I put the club in that position? From there, all I'm trying to do is rotate. So if we thought about it as a turn, which often gets called about, we tend to have our shoulders working too horizontally. We tend to stand up and out of posture. And that's where I'm suggesting here that the feeling from this takeaway move would be my lead shoulder just moving down underneath my chin to complete my backswing length. So let me go ahead. Takeaway position. Rotate away from the target. I'm going to rehearse that takeaway move. Just put the club in that position that we're looking for, and then go ahead and pull the trigger. So many bad faults come from poor takeaway position, that club not being in the right position at P2 here at this first parallel. If we can simply get our wrists to cock and hinge to get us into this right position here with some body movement then away from the target, we're achieving the right backswing position. If we're in a good loaded backswing position with that club face square with a flat lead wrist, we're making it so simple on the downswing to try and hit some more repeatable golf shots that we're actually looking for. So what I'm asking you to do is actually do some where we get to this preset drill and hit them. Then I'm asking you to try and get to that same position that it feels like when you are here at this preset. Can you get the club into that position? We could then start by just hitting some golf shots from there. And the only feeling I'm really getting from here is that my body is turning away from the target. My lead shoulder moves down underneath my chin, and that creates the correct tilts and turns in our backswing. It is not just a simple turn. It is not a pure tilt. We are rotating around our spine angle. So if we can put those three simple parts in there, the wrist cock, the wrist hinge, and then that rotating around our spine, it's really going to improve your top of the backswing position and cure a lot of faults for you. If this video has helped, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Do subscribe to my channel to never miss a video again. If you hit the bell icon, it just notifies you when a new video goes live. And do comment below any videos you'd like me to film, anything that you're struggling with. It gives me some great content ideas that's relevant for you guys.